Let's talk Final Fantasy first. You saw the 16 trailer, right?
Of course.
What do you think?
I think it could. I mean, obviously, Final Fantasy is a massive game, and obviously, the success of the 7 remake brought a lot of the OG Final Fantasy fans back on board, because 15 probably wasn't, and you know how I feel about 15. I loved 15. A lot of people didn't like 15. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But 7 remake brought a lot of people back on the Final Fantasy bandwagon. Like, Final Fantasy might be back as because Dragon Age has been doing their thing, Dragon Quest, Dragon Quest, Monster Hunter, a lot of these other Japanese IPs have been killing it, and Final Fantasy's been behind or lacking.
Yeah.
And, they're committed to that action, combat system that Kingdom Hearts kind of revolutionized a little bit.
Yeah.
So, 7 was amazing. It was incredible. And the trailer for 16 looks like we're going back to a high fantasy. The old times, knights in armor, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are excited. And also, it looked pretty.
Yeah.
It just looked good.
It looked good.
Yeah, and it looked like it's going to be adult, too. It looked like there was a little bit of gore on the trailer.
Yeah, there was some blood.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to wait until I give my take on it, because my take's kind of the opposite of yours. But AC, do you have anything to say about that?
I didn't expect there to be that new installment so soon, and I think that's amazing. It's like, I don't know.
That is true.
For a launch title game, if it is a launch title game, they must have been working on it for some time.
Well, there's not a release date.
I don't think it's a launch.
There's not a release date.
And they also said on their Twitter that they made for the game that they have more information to come in 2021. So I'm expecting 22 at the earliest.
Yeah, 2025.
Oh, all right.
You think 2025?
This is Square Enix we're talking about.
True, but it did look kind of complete. Like, they showed a lot in the trailer.
Yeah,
we saw combat, and then we saw a lot of story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They have to be, I'd say, at least 50% done.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It's just crazy, though, their schedule, because remember Kingdom Hearts 3 was delayed because they were either working on that, and then, Final Fantasy VII Remake, they're giving that a lot of attention. So how much time are they putting toward this game?
Well, was the timeline for Kingdom Hearts 3, that was delayed because it was supposed to be Final Fantasy versus 13,
which became 15,
which
right?
became 15,
yeah.
right? So that was one of the reasons that was delayed, I think.
But
also, this game isn't made by the team that do the mainstay Final Fantasy games.
Wasn't there a weird name or something? It was something business in the trailer.
Yeah.
Did you see that? What was that?
So that's the team that makes Final Fantasy 14, the online game.
Interesting.
And are they an American-based production company?
No, they're still Japanese.
Okay.
But the director of Final Fantasy 14 was given this as a side project, and he took his team from that game. And Final Fantasy 14's loved. I'm not really into those 1,000 people online games.
Yeah.
It's
MMOs.
It's not for me. MMOs. It's not for me. They're cool, but just doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
This is his first, big title.
So it's a main series game, which is amazing. Because I remember I texted Andrew about it, and it said, "Is Final Fantasy even still relevant?" And that's a good question, but it's not really a good question because he's kind of out of that loop, that RPG in the Final Fantasy loop. But I mean, it's 2020. We're still getting main series games, so I don't think it's going anywhere.
I think they're grappling for relevancy globally, and that's the reason why they're making a game like this. And that's the reason why they made a game like Final Fantasy VII Remake, is because they're trying to stay relevant outside of Japan. Because it's easy to sell Final Fantasy to Japan.
Easy.
It's easy to sell Dragon Quest to
honestly,
Japan.
the names sell.
Right.
They're tried
totally.
and trusted IPs.
Well, think about how Call of Duty here in the West.
Great
It's
point.
that's kind of how the JRPGs are in Japan.
But to your point about Final Fantasy and some of the games, you have to advance the game itself over time. Because, I love a good turn-based game, but it has to have it has to bring something different.
See, I argue that innate quality is what makes a JRPG. Now it's more of just. I said this to Ant when I watched the trailer. If you watch the trailer for that game and take out and when I say that game, I mean Final Fantasy 16, trying to be specific, and you take out the chocobos, the Moogles, everything that visually directly references Final Fantasy, it could be a trailer to any game.
Yeah.
That's what bothers me. It's I feel like that feeling that Final Fantasy feeling is gone.
But at the same time, that was Final Fantasy. When Final Fantasy first came out, no one was not to my extent, but no one was doing that high fantasy, magic with knights and like stuff like that. You gotta remember, like Final Fantasy 1 through 3 were very castle oriented, and like there's prestige, and there's also like politics that get put in play. A lot of people loved Final Fantasy because of the politics. Yeah. And this looks like it might go back to the politics. Like 15 touched on the political game, but it didn't like dive into it. And obviously 7's a very political game.
Yeah.
Like, top down. That's a very political game because it deals with eco-terrorism, and then it deals with like the abuse that conglomerates can have, and such as that. And if they become corporations, they become a monopoly, and the people who are trying to resist and rebel. Like 7 is one of the most political games from a JRPG game, which they typically don't get that way because it's usually about like the relationships you make and overcoming whatever it is.
There's a lot of psychology going on in Final Fantasy VII too, because I played it last summer, and all the stuff I've been learning in school and whatnot, and just seeing it in that game, it's just a lot of trauma going on with Cloud and even Sephiroth too. It's like a heartbreaking
That's in
story.
1996. Like no game was doing that level of character depth.
You know what's crazy, man? So I watch a lot of YouTubers when they talk. Well, not a lot, maybe like 2. So a couple.
Those 2 a lot.
Yeah, I watch like a couple YouTube gamers that talk about retro games, and I like to listen to them talk about their experience when those games came out, because they were our age when Final Fantasy VII came out. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So it's great to get their it's their perspective on those games when they came out, and they're just blown away that video games can tell stories like that. Like apparently there are so many RPGs on the PS1 that honestly I'm never going to play. I'm never going to get around to all of them. But just hearing them talk about them, I'm just like, wow, I can't believe so many games carry this much weight. Like there's one game, Xenoblade, I think is one of it. Yeah, apparently that one. Yeah, for the PS1 is like this groundbreaking, emotional roller coaster of a story. It's just crazy.
And I've watched a couple like YouTubers like that. The one guy's Maximilian, dude.
Yeah,
pretty funny.
He's the fighting guy. He's the fighting game guy.
But he's also like he loves Final Fantasy, old Final Fantasy. He's not like into it. But when he played 7, and he was like, how this game looks today is how I thought it looked in 1996. He said this game's like everything I wanted.
Oh yeah,
because
back then you kind of had to use your imagination.
You know what I mean? And he said like and you had to use your imagination. And he was like in a game, like he was like crying at certain parts of it, and I was like, regardless of what like publications and like a while years ago, I used to be like into the reviews and stuff. I don't really care about like because you can't really put a number on a game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like it's hard to quantify something like that. But when you see like emotion like that, and he's like a trusted person like the gaming community or whatever. So when I see him how he feels, I'm like, damn, I want to have that experience. You know what I mean?
Totally.
And that gets me to like play a lot of games.
So I think you can put a number on the gameplay. I think it's fair to do that. I think you can rate that. Okay. But you're right. As far as aesthetic goes, like one of the hottest games out is that game where everyone's in the little hazmat suits. You know which one I'm talking about? That
Among Us that
streamers are playing, and that looks like it was made in 2 seconds. But it's an amazing game.
It's an amazing
you know what I'm saying?
Game.
So like they rolled a 10 in gameplay. So I think you can rate gameplay. With Maximilian,
I think games like that though is a little hard to judge because it's not like it's getting 10 on gameplay because of how you play it with your friends.
Right.
And it's not like mechanically like groundbreaking.
Yeah, it is the other people that makes it a 10. Yeah. But the fact that they designed it that way is commendable, right? So with Maximilian crying about Final Fantasy VII, and I'm not trying to like at all say that that's something you should be ashamed of. If it's a game you're passionate about, that's cool. But it's nostalgia, right? It's you can't really be like, because this game is nostalgic, it's good. I tried doing that with Kingdom Hearts 3. It doesn't work. You really have to be like, all right, what about this deserves its place in my life still? And you really have to focus on that.
Because you were harsh on 3 when it came out.
Dude, I had
and I was the opposite, and then I eventually got to his point. Because I wanted it so bad.
Yeah,
very honest. If you make me wait that long, you know what I'm saying?
You become more critical.
It's got to be good. Yeah. Think about all the things you've waited for in your life. You know what I'm saying? The ones that you really waited long for, were they good? If not, bro, then you wasted your time. I'm going to be honest with you. And that goes for anything in life. Like, if you waited to get gains or you waited to lose weight and it didn't turn out the way you wanted to, you need to go back to the drawing board. So it's the same thing with Kingdom Hearts. And it's an okay game, right? So I'm going all the way back to Final Fantasy. It's like nostalgia, style, that's great because it looks like it has great style. And look, if Final Fantasy is based in medieval kind of aesthetic, okay, so then we're back to nostalgia. My question is, going forward, what is the gameplay mechanic that is going to make this Final Fantasy? Because right now, they don't have one that is strictly Final Fantasy anymore.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you think about it, and that's where it's like...
Final Fantasy has no identity. It has an identity crisis right now.
Well,
what is that? What is the trailer
I don't think so, because Final Fantasy created... If you think about it, they created 3 revolutionary gameplay mechanics. They were one of the ones, the first to do the turn-based combat. Then they did the active battle time, which was implemented in 7, which a lot of people loved. And then
7 had active battle time?
I think you're talking about the remake or the original?
Original.
Okay.
Oh, what, like the bar, right? They did that in 6.
So 6
started
it.
Yeah,
so 6 started the active battle time, and then people loved that. Mm-hmm. And then they kept making it better and better, whatever. And then Kingdom Hearts comes, and then they do that combat system, that style, which in 2002, I don't think any other game was doing that. So they were one of the first to do that, Square Enix. And then I think that style resonates better in Final Fantasy games and Kingdom Hearts games because how the cutscenes are depicted.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
How they show the game off to you. Mm-hmm. You see these characters like flying all over and it's high action and stuff like that. You're like, cool. And then if you think about it, after you see a cutscene like that, then you get into a battle where it drastically slows down because you're doing turn-based. Nothing wrong with that. But I think in today's market, that combat system of the, high pace trying to match what we do in our movies and the animes or whatever, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It resonates better, and it could create a more lasting memory and image for it, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean the market's always changing. They're just adapting.
You gotta adapt.
If you want to play turn-based, there's games at
millions.
And if you want to play a modern turn-based game, which game?
Fire Emblem.
Okay.
I wanted to play that.
So if
that's an awesome game.
They still have these games for that market. Like I think I've said this example, and I think a great example is
Octopath. Or Bravely Default.
Bravely Default. I want to play Octopath so bad, but I just can't pay $50. Dude, the price hasn't gone down at all. It hasn't budged.
It's Nintendo. They don't put sales out.
Speaking of which, do you see how heinous it is that they're releasing this Mario All-Stars collection for $60?
$60.
Yeah, the resale is kooky too.
And guess what? They're not remastered. They looked exactly the same.
Well, I looked into this extensively.
Yeah.
Are they?
So here's the deal. They touched up the textures and like the sprites that were present in the GameCube that mark things like spare lives or stuff like that. Just stationary images. Yeah. So they actually redid those from scratch. So they did do a little bit of it. They removed So Long King Bowser, which sounds like So Long Gay Bowser in Mario 64.
So Long Gay Bowser.
They completely got rid of that. So what they did is they made, for the first time ever, Sunshine widescreen because it was standard def for the longest time. And
But Galaxy already looked good.
Well, Galaxy was widescreen because it was on the Wii. So what they did with that is they redid the programming of the game so that you don't have to use motion controls if you want to play it. You can use the touchscreen. If you're playing it in handheld, which is really, really cool.
Did you get it?
I didn't get it yet. I'm waiting, and I'll get to that. And the last thing that they did is they made all the textures cleaner in Mario 64, so it doesn't look like kind of as loose, but they kept it in standard def because they didn't want it to change to the point where people didn't recognize it anymore.
Interesting.
But yeah, so that's as much as they did. But it's heinous that it's $60, and the only thing that you get besides those 3 games is the music. And it's like I could go online and listen to it if I wanted to.
Yeah, like who's just gonna play the? I saw that. I saw the screen or the home screen menu, whatever it is, and they just have the soundtracks. I'm like, yeah, let me just throw on the Mario Sunshine.
My valuable Switch battery. I'll keep the Switch on just to listen to the music.
But if you think about it, the one thing that Switch has everyone by the nuts with is that you can just take it anywhere.
Yeah, that is a godsend.
Like playing Mario Galaxy, imagine like you have a long commute, you just fire up.
That's awesome. But now Nintendo's like on this anti-consumer kick where they're like,
no sales.
You want to buy this game? Well, it's only on sale till March 2021. Isn't that what it said? Something like that?
Yeah, and that's it. Yeah.
But why? There's no reason for it.
Nintendo makes like weird moves with their games. Because I bought Fire Emblem, and it's been out for over a year, and it's $60. Breath of the Wild, $60.
Yeah.
It's been out for 3 years. Never went on sale once.
Right.
Like once.
Well, none of them do. I mean, it's it's weird that they're so anti-consumer. I mean, they make great games, obviously, but why they would put a limit on it? Obviously, they're trying to get a lot of sales. That's why there's also like a limited physical release. You said the resales are crazy already.
Yeah, people are buying because of the limited shelf life that the game has. People are buying like 2 to 3 copies a piece and putting them on eBay.
That's so
yeah.
weird.
They're like shoes now.
Dude, all right. We can save this for a later discussion in the podcast, but I want to come at all these fucking shoe people for what they did to the goddamn
sneakerheads.
Yeah, the sneakerheads. What they did to the goddamn PS5 tournament that I just had to go through.
Oh yeah, so you actually got a pre-order. I saw on your Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay, what happened?
Bro, like, because sneakerheads, and as you know, because you know people who do sneakers, this bot bullshit that they do. So when things go live, they'll flood sites with these bots. I don't understand how it works, really, but they flood the sites, and the bots will, with the information already pre-typed or whatever, I don't know, they'll pre-order things. So people will get like 50 consoles, X amount of stuff. So the past week,
so gross.
PlayStation and NVIDIA, PlayStation released the PS5, and Walmart released it 4 hours after the press conference when it was supposed to be shown, released the next day. So Walmart needs to take accountability for that because they were like, "Oh, thought you were going to wait for the PS5 pre-order? Nah, pre-order now." They literally tweeted that.
I saw that's exactly what they said.
That's exactly what they said. They said, "Nah, pre-order it now." And dude, it opened a hellfire because Sony said at the end of the thing, they said tomorrow. Yeah. Everyone's thinking tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Then they do this, so every other company, their sites are getting crashed. So how do you deal with the foot traffic? You just put it up so people will get it and then leave, right? So everyone's releasing the pre-orders early, and then Sony just goes dark. It's a lose-lose. You can't say anything at this point. Yeah. They eventually apologized, I think, yesterday, but like the damage was done. Mm-hmm. And people just had 50 consoles. It took me like 8 hours to get one. Oh. And I was waiting for Amazon, dude, because it was going everywhere. I had it in my cart at GameStop, went to checkout, kept loading. And I was like, dude, I was like, this is a tricky game because if I refresh this page
there's no
and
going
it doesn't
back.
do it, I'm going to lose it.
Mm-hmm.
But it kept doing. I waited 10 minutes, still spinning, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to hit pay again and double pay. Mm-hmm. I hit the refresh. The item in your cart has been sold out. And I'm like, okay.
Dang.
So what I did is I follow IGN Deals and Jeff Keighley on Twitter, set their tweets to notify me around midnight. As I'm about to fall asleep, Jeff Keighley tweets, Amazon finally posted the PS5 pre-order links.
Wow, cool.
Went on Amazon, got it instantly.
So if I tried
told my roommates, and they all got it too.
I saw that Stab got one too. If I try to buy it right now, it'd all be sold out on Amazon.
It's all sold out at the moment, but PlayStation came out and said that they're going to do another wave of pre-orders.
Well, they have to. Because
that the console will be available till the end of 2020.
And it's coming out when? December?
No, November 12th.
All right.
Isn't that what they usually do?
Like around Black Friday? Around Black Friday.
Yeah, here's my 2 questions for you. So one, what got you to buy it? Is it a game, or did you just want to have the PS5? And 2, why didn't you wait till Black Friday?
Yeah, Sheldon.
So what got me to buy it? You know, I love PlayStation, stuff like that. I have the PS4 Pro. 2, I'm excited to play the new Spider-Man.
I was gonna say, of all the games, Miles Morales looks the best.
Yeah.
I might try out Demon's Souls. Never played it before, but it looks good.
There's a new Demon's Souls?
New Demon's Souls. They took the first one and completely remade it.
Isn't that supposed to be like the hardest game ever?
It's like It's like up there.
No, thank you.
It's like those Dark Soul type games.
So, and to describe Dark Souls, you know how Kingdom Hearts style fighting is kind of like the dodge roll and hitting? Mm-hmm. It's that, but imagine like way more intense. So your character can dodge roll and hit and jump, kind of like Sora can, but it's just like insane in your face. And there's so many games
too. The hitboxes are like
it's pretty cool,
perfect.
And then they made Bloodborne, which is like a like a Gothic style one.
Gothic style. That's
Demon
a good
Souls
one.
are all medieval.
Sekiro.
And then Sekiro is the Japanese style one. So
and you love that one game, right?
Yeah. I mean, Ant knows I love like hard secret Kingdom Hearts bosses, and so like Demon Souls is just like that every level. That's what it is. And if you die, like
some kind of masochist.
Yeah, but it's a great game.
So, and then there's a couple games. God of War 2, we know comes out next year. So I want to have it now and not deal with that holiday rush. You know what I mean?
Which, by the way, how's that even going to go this year? I guess it's all just going to be virtual. Like Black Friday is going to be virtual.
No way, dude.
You don't think so?
Dude, people want their Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
Like, they're not like. It's gonna be such a zoo. I can, and especially with like these PS5s and Xbox, man.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a zoo. And like, luckily, the thing I'm worried about is because I usually don't trust I trust them, but like something like this from Amazon, and they even emailed me. Everyone said you might not get it day one on the 12th. So I'm like, okay,
it's not the end of the world.
I'm cool with waiting a week. How much past a week are we possibly considering to the point where it's like maybe I should pre-order this elsewhere, or I'll just wait. It's not that big of a deal, right? Mm-hmm. But I also, you have to sign for it, and we all work from home. Fortunately, one of us can get the door when they come eventually and sign off on 3 PS5s. But
how much was it, if you don't mind me asking?
$527.
That's not bad.
So you didn't get that, correct me if I'm wrong, but weren't there 2 models released?
2 models. Same exact thing. One's a disc, one's without a disc.
So you went disc.
I went disc.
You need disc.
I need disc. And I was talking to Chris and Jesse about this, and I said, me personally, and as you guys know, I watch a lot of movies, and I like to own my movies.
Yeah, same.
I kind of like that experience of like opening the package, having the DVD featurettes, watching that, watching behind the scenes. I love that. This is my bread and butter. And I also buy, sometimes collector's games. Collectors always come physical. So, kind of need a disc drive for that.
So that was my other question for you. Do you think that the price of software in physical format is going to go up because they're trying to encourage everyone to do digital? Do you think that they're going to increase the price on box games?
The price on games have already went up. They announced that.
How much?
$10. So
it's going to be $70 for a game now?
But if you think about it, only, as far as I know, Xbox and PlayStation, or just PlayStation, whatever is first party is going to be $70, because those are typically the most expensive games to make. But
oh my gosh.
If you think about it, I expected this to happen last console generation.
Well, yeah, because 60 has been present for PS3 and PS4.
Yeah, and I don't think PS2. I think PS2 was 50.
Those are the
right?
good days, man.
And then PS3, Xbox 360 jumped up to 60.
Yeah.
And that was the norm for a very long time. 2 whole console generations. So, and especially with how tech is and how incredible things look, I'm not mad at the $10 jump. And honestly, I know you do this as well. Sometimes we'll buy the more expensive version.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I bought the Final Fantasy 15 Collector's Edition. It was like $90 and came with that hand-painted steelbook.
Cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't buy a ton of games. Like, if I'm buying something, it's something I really like. So I'm not too mad at the price jump, but that is kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
$70 for a game.
I think it's about time. I think it reflects, the price of these games and, the amount of work that people put in. Like,
that's crazy.
I respect it.
Well, tell me how it is. I'll definitely come over to see your PS5.
Yeah, man,
I'm going to be waiting on it. But
I was thinking about getting the Xbox as well.
Really?
There's only one game I want that for, and it's Fable.
Oh, yeah, there's a new Fable.
Interesting.
But since that game looks like it might be 2 or 3 years away, I think I might just wait on that.
Yeah, man.
Did you know that the new Final Fantasy is a PlayStation exclusive?
Yeah, and that is console exclusive. That's on PC. But that's a telling sign that PlayStation might be back in bed with Square Enix, because every single Final Fantasy game now, I believe, is all over everything. Console-wise, it's on the Switch, it's on the Xbox.
Yeah.
And all Kingdom Hearts are on Xbox for free if you have Game Pass.
Yeah.
All of them.
I did see that, which is pretty interesting.
The 1.5 and the 2.5 and then the 2.2 and then 3.
Right?
2.8, sorry.
And now they got this symphony game, this Kingdom Hearts like music.
You know what's
game.
annoying? Oh, you're about to get me hot too. Dude, it's about to get hot. Dude, that game takes place after 3.
Does it really?
What?
Yes.
It's part of the story?
It's part of the story.
What?
Wow.
And Sora's gone. And it's so annoying because I saw some of the trailers they were showing, and they like openly talk about like Sora being gone. And I'm like, that's so annoying because I don't want to play a music game.
Yeah.
But like, I've been dragged through this story for so long that I might have to consider it.
Is this...
Or just watch the whole thing on YouTube.
I have 2 questions because I haven't been keeping up to date with this. Is this out, number 1?
I think it's out.
Okay, and number 2 is like, do you have to buy it or is it free?
$60.
$60 to play a music game that nobody wants to play?
It's Kingdom Hearts, bro.
Really?
I think so. You might have to Google it.
Yeah, let me Google it.
I forget what it's
real
called,
quick.
too.
In the meantime, yeah, I just thought it was so crazy that they had...
Oh, you know what? What's his name? Tetsuya
Nomura.
You hear what he said? Did you see the interview?
No.
They were like, oh, we realized the game is Kingdom Hearts MOM. is that like a does that mean any correlation to the Master of Masters? And he's like, I guess you have to play the game to find out. I'm like, you're annoying.
Yeah, you know what, man? That is kind of annoying.
I was like, you're annoying.
You're not kidding.
Yeah.
First off, it is out, which I'm really surprised by. And secondly, it is $60.
Yeah.
Is there a physical?
What?
Yeah.
There is a physical.
Look at I love the box art, though.
You're going to have to get
I
it.
love the box art.
You're going to have
I was going to say, well, actually, it comes out November 13th. But yeah,
it's out in Japan now.
I will be buying this. I guess it is.
But look how sick the box cover looks.
Yeah, I mean...
That artwork is always amazing.
It's Kingdom Hearts.
And it's Sora's throne with Kyrie on it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to get it. This game looks awful. I can't wait to see like the IGN reviews, but yeah, man, I'm totally
But here's the thing, how do you rate a music game badly?
You don't, you enjoy it.
By calling it a cash grab, I guess.
There's no rhythm.
This music game has no rhythm. It's a complete zoo.
It's a zoo.
Yeah, man. All right, cool. So you got the PS5.
Yeah.
I usually buy a new console when there's a game that like I really, really want, but I might be switching to PC recently.
Really?
Yeah, because I've been like really enthralled by the idea of getting like a VR headset and kind of living in a VR world.
You don't need a PC for that though.
Dude, this
you need some
you can buy one of the Oculus ones that are just the strongest one that just
there's Oculus that have all the games built in, but the real way to do it is to have the PC so you have more options on how you experience VR. But that's a different topic.
From someone who has a PC, I hate it.
You hate VR?
Because no, I hate PC gaming.
Oh, okay.
And mine's like more from I guess a production standpoint. I hate the fact that like I'll do like work from home or go to the office 8 hours at a desk. Come home to put myself more hours in a desk. Doing the same thing. I get like PTSD thinking about it. Like
wow.
Keyboard, mouse, and I'm like, dude, am I at the office? Like it's just like annoying. And like you have to hop on Discord, and you know how annoying Discord is.
Yeah.
And like you have to do that stuff, and it's just like, bro, nothing's better than just turn on the controller, plug a headset into it, hop in a party if you want to. But also, I like gaming. I've said this before. I like gaming on big TVs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I want immersion.
Mm-hmm.
Get on it. Hearing the clacks the whole time.
The click and the clack.
The click and the clacks, like with your cherry brushed keyboard.
Yeah, I'm not getting a PC.
Mechanical.
Believe me, dude. I'm not getting a PC to play like a FPS or anything that intense. I really just want to be like, load VR chat, put the VR headset on,
go in Sword
and
Art,
just chill. Yeah, man. Sword Art. Just completely go to another zone.
Josh has one. I think you've seen Josh's.
That's part of the reason.
See, now
why
he
I
has
he
has the Vive. I think the Oculus
HTC Vive is the best that money can buy right now.
I think it was $700. It cost him $700. Something like that.
It's very expensive, but it's amazing.
Sweaty.
Cool.
Yeah, it looks
you sweating. Dude, we're playing Beat Saber, and
I seen that.
Dude, take the headset off, it's dripping.
Yeah, man, it's intense, but that's something I want to experiment with. So I'm slowly making my way to buying a PC, but money's tight right now.
Andrew wants to lock in.
Sheldon, with your point about playing on the TV, so I know you guys are probably going to roll your eyes, but I am a very old school gamer, but I am very intrigued by the PS5 and specifically the Final Fantasy XVI because I watched the trailer and I was like, all right, whatever. It looks cool. And then I watched it again and I'm like, holy crap. And then I watched it again and I'm like, I have to play this. And like thinking about like sitting in like a dark room like with a nice TV and just like sitting and immersing yourself like in that world and getting into that story, that seems like so much fun.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've seen my room in a while, but Andrew's seen it. I bought a nice soundbar, and I have a fairly decent TV, and like I cut the lights off on that thing, and that thing illuminates the room.
That's awesome.
And it's big, and it's loud in my room, and when I'm gaming, like you can like feel it type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was playing Final Fantasy VII, and like I had Tifa's theme swelling in my room. It's also my ringtone, but like I don't know, man. It was just an experience. Like I try to make it an experience because I don't really care to be competitive in games anymore and stuff. It ain't me anymore. I don't have the time for it, nor do I even care.
Yeah,
I rather like you said, you rather get immersed and like a getaway.
That's it, man.
Bro, Final Fantasy VII Remake did that for me, where I was like, oh, I think this is like my type of gaming now. Is like playing in a enriching story.
Yeah.
Gone, and I'm like out for hours. Like that's how it was for Ghost of Tsushima, and then it got really repetitive for me.
I am still playing it. I'm trying to do every little thing. I love it, but I can understand.
But that immersion factor of that game is insane.
Yeah, that's why it hasn't got repetitive to me. It's just because I like.
Because there's no HUD. I think the no HUD does it.
It's that, but I just like looking at the game. Like I think it's pretty. Like if I do the same thing for the rest of the game, that's fine. I just think
Drew,
it's pretty.
Drew and I found out that we do the exact same thing in the game. So we'll call out an enemy, walk up on him, kill him, and kill all his boys. Right after we kill them, I'll either bow or I play the flute.
Yeah.
Send them a little song in their travels.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
That's so like creative.
You can do little things like that, which makes it really awesome.
On the photo mode, man.
Yeah, that's
top
It has a
tier.
photo mode?
Oh my, does it ever?
Probably hilarious.
And you can, it's like Instagram. You can put like different filters on it. You can make your character do different expressions. Yeah, I mean, you've seen the Breath of the Wild one, so it's kind of similar. But we'll leave video games for a little bit, and we'll talk about Tenet, just because we're coming up on an hour and a little bit.
Already?
So,
wow.
I'm not already, but I know this talk's gonna take us a while, so I'll let you know when an hour's done, and we'll just close out. But yeah. So what did you guys think?
I'll let him go first.
I don't know. I feel bad going first, but I'll do it because mine's probably very brief. So yeah, I'm a Chris Nolan noob. But I liked it. I thought it was cool. Not really my style, but I thought the acting and the cinematography and the action was cool.
Wait, you're a Chris Nolan noob?
Yeah.
You've seen the Batman movies, and then what else?
Yeah, and Inception and all that, but not like... Didn't he make Memento?
Yes, he did.
So that's on my list, but I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
I am going to get to it.
Do you need it? I have it.
I think I could find it. I think it's on HBO or something, because I added it to my watch now.
It might be.
It's on Netflix.
Is it on Netflix? Yep. Okay, cool. So yeah, I thought it was really cool. Could we do spoilers?
Yeah.
All right.
If you're listening to this, just turn
You got 5 seconds.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, there was just some scenes that kind of blew me away, but then there's also, in typical Chris Nolan fashion, there's some scenes where you're scratching your head, and then you end up putting the piece together. But overall, being the noob that I am, I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. Did I love it? No, not at all. But I thought it was really, really cool. Would I watch it again? No, probably not.
Too long.
But it's got your boy in there.
Yeah.
It's a long one.
However, so my one buddy, he's a big movie guy, and he went to see it, I think 2 or 3 times in theaters. Yeah.
Tenet?
Yeah.
God damn.
So he's kind of notorious for seeing movies 2 or 3 times. So he saw Lighthouse in theaters 3 times. So he's one of these kind of guys.
I didn't even know it was in theaters. Actually, I thought that was a straight on demand to Prime.
What, Lighthouse?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's where I saw in theaters.
Oh.
So
I think I saw it on Prime or whatever. One of them. I think it might have been Prime.
Yeah.
I forget what it is.
I'll watch it today.
He saw it like 3 times, but he was on Reddit, like a movie Reddit or something. Some people seen it like 6 times in theaters. Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Bro, what do you do for a living that you could see a movie 6 times?
Kooky.
Not in terms
It's only
of
been out
money,
for
but
about
just in
what, a
terms of
week?
time.
It's been out for a week.
Yeah,
so
that's
people
amazing.
love it,
Literally.
man. People love it, and I could totally see why. Like, I think it's a visual masterpiece, absolutely. But yeah, that's my take on it.
Well, as we all know, Christopher Nolan is my favorite director, and I love what him and Sin Copy do. And I was enthralled with this movie. I love this movie. I've only seen it once. I think I'm gonna wait until it's out on Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the whole mask thing and also the movie theater, it's just annoying. Like, if you eat popcorn, drink your drink, you don't have to wear your mask. But it's just like the fact that it's there. Like, I don't know.
Oh, I ate popcorn.
Yeah, I bought a big popcorn.
No,
I bought a big popcorn.
Dude, I realized, and hold your thought, I don't want to interrupt too much, but like when I was in the theater watching a movie with the mask on, I was like, I'm getting so hot right now. Like, I wanted to take it off.
It's so annoying.
Yeah, dude, it was rough. I was like, dude, I'm sweating. Like, I was literally sweating because the heat, like, there's so much heat.
And your eyes get it, and your eyes get a little watery.
Yeah.
But, man, like you said, there were things done in that movie that I had never seen before, and I have to respect that. And
Yeah.
like, to your because we talked about it briefly before, Chris Nolan's not really known for like dialogue in his films. He lets like the intricacies of the plot to kind of drive the narrative, or like whatever rule is established in that thing in the world will be the driving force of the movie. And he's very theme heavy, and that's what I like about his films. But yeah, that movie's definitely an experience.
Yeah.
It was definitely something
And
different.
that's literally like besides Robert Pattinson. That's like literally the biggest draw for me was the experience. Like I wanted to see an IMAX. Like I wanted to go and have fun.
Right. And the thing about that movie, it made me. That's how I fell in love with movies. You know, the experience of the movie.
Totally.
Like sometimes you'll see a movie that's kind of like a drag and stuff like this, but like Lighthouse, seeing that, I can only imagine how that was because like even with the black bars and like the movie is literally centered and like it's an experience. And, like, the soundscape of The Lighthouse is, like, phenomenal. And, like, the soundscape of this movie was, like, insane as well.
Yeah.
But, like, the fact that he shot, I think, 75% of the movie in IMAX 70 75, and the rest in 60. And it was, like, visually, like, breathtaking. But I just need the behind the features to come out.
It was weird.
How they did some things.
Yeah, it was weird. Because when I saw Inception for the first time in theaters, like, a few weeks ago, before Inception came on, they were doing a behind-the-scenes thing of Tenet. So they were giving like a few details, but like I wasn't really paying attention because I'm like dude knows I'm a huge baby when it comes to spoilers. So I was like, I don't really want to know too much about it.
Movie trailer show you 3 minutes of like a whole sizzle reel.
So I was like drifting in and out of focus, but it's pretty cool. Like the way that like the cast was very excited. They were like, this was so much fun to make. It's so impressive, and so yeah.
What do you think, Drew?
When I watched it. First off, I love how every Chris Nolan movie starts off with just like a rumble. It's never like this soft thing. Everything, even Memento starts off just like like, and the soundtrack's really loud.
Well, Memento starts off with the murder.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and you're like, whoa, what's going on?
Right, right. And I love how all of his movies start off with this rush, and it's so funny because I was talking to Alex, and I asked him, I was like, what did you think of Memento? And he goes, you should go to the hearing impaired screening of Memento. And I was like, why? And he goes, so you can see subtitles, so you can understand what people are saying. There were so many times where I had no idea what people were saying. And to be fair,
is this Tenet or Memento?
Tenet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because the way that he directs, his productions overall tend to have really loud sound effects.
And
really
he does
music,
everything in live places.
Right. That wasn't too much of a deterrent for me, but that's when I like realized, okay, I'm watching a Chris Nolan movie, so now I really have to pay attention, right?
Yeah.
So I was straining my eyes, I was straining my ears, I was listening to the whole entire thing. Loved the movie. When it got done, I was like, I had no idea what I just watched. I didn't know why there were two armies. I didn't know where the two armies came from. I knew that like I didn't know all this stuff, man. I appreciated the action scenes. I appreciated the back in time stuff. I appreciated all of it, but most of the finer points, I'm going to be honest with you, I had no idea, and I felt really dumb. And I usually do feel really dumb after a Chris Nolan movie. So I watched some explanations, I read some stuff.
That's how I felt with Interstellar.
First
time I saw Interstellar. But
Interstellar,
dude, when they were trying to explain the whole gravity thing, I was like, yeah, I need to see this again. I was like, this is like...
That's my favorite movie of all time, and I don't fully understand it. I love it though.
I think that's cool.
That's what I was getting to. So I didn't fully understand Tenet, but I loved it. Like I thought it was really, really awesome.
If we had time, because literally, Greg called me last night. He's like, I just saw Tenet. I need you got to fill me in.
Yeah.
I'm like confused, and I'm gonna hold my ranking, and I filled him in, and then. Like I went on like a deep dive into the film.
I'm pretty good on it. I've seen 2 videos and watched and read an article about it. So like I'm good on it now.
Dude, the one thing that he didn't pick up, he said to me, he's like, what red string? And I was like, bro, that was like the most pivotal thing in the whole movie. Was the red string.
Some people aren't big on visual cues. Like that whole thing was nonverbal, so you really had to be paying attention to get it. Like if you turned to eat your popcorn, you would have
you're gonna miss
the red string.
You're gonna miss the red string.
That's why Chris Nolan movies demand your full attention. And I think that's part of the reason why they're so popular.
And it's long.
Yeah, it was close to 3 hours. And
it didn't feel like that though to me. No. I personally, like it didn't feel like 3 hours.
Just because the pace of this movie was insane.
It felt like it was long to make. I had to leave to go use the bathroom.
So did I.
Did you guys really?
But I went.
This is the worst movie to do that at.
But I went at the best moment. You know when it was?
When
they were on the yacht. Not at the end when he got introduced to her husband.
Oh, okay.
On that boat.
That's not a bad moment. Yeah.
And I came back when he was yelling at her after he like slapped her or whatever, and I was like. Dude, I had to go. I was like, dude, this is like you said, this is the movie I do not want to go. I need like a down moment where I think it's going to be down for like at least 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Pick the perfect thing because it went to a slow moment after that.
I did the same thing.
You know what they should do in the future?
Dude, and here's the thing. I used the bathroom when I left the house.
Yeah.
I used the bathroom before I got my food and drink. But I don't know if I was like really excited about the movie or whatever. But
just sitting for a long time, or just sitting in general, it makes you go.
You gotta dehydrate yourself for the movie. That's what I do, man. But
Bro.
What would be great is if you had like a little PP pass on your phone. So what happens?
Dude, they have that app.
You buy the ticket, and so
movie
you
break.
could just leave the theater and go to the bathroom and watch it on your phone as you're peeing, so you don't.
Oh,
miss
that's
anything.
what you're talking about,
dude.
Wait, that's a thing, or you want that to be?
I want that to be a thing.
There used to be an app.
Think about it.
Back in the day when we were in high school.
You can only do it for 5 minutes, so you can't have the whole movie. But like you can only do it for like we'll say like 10 minutes. You can do it for 10 minutes. You can go take a pee and have it on your phone so you don't miss anything.
There was
turn it off your back.
There was this app that came out when we were in high school. I think it was called Movie Break, where it tells you what are the best times in a film to go use the bathroom.
Wow.
And then it'll tell you. It'll say where you. It'll say the scene, and it'll say how long the scene runs for, and then it'll say this could be spoilerish. So if you're not here, read the previous one.
That's so funny.
That kind of reminds me of like the Waze app where you see like cops, stoplight cameras.
Yeah. I just find that so funny. Like, all right, you can leave during this part. This part's
so
not important.
Yeah,
I remember this one time I saw Hunger Games. I'd use the bathroom, and they said the bathroom break, and it was like a 15-minute section where they were like, just go at any point for here.
That's funny.
Like you can just leave.
But yeah, man, I think it was good. I don't think it was one of his best movies.
Okay,
I liked
fair.
it though. I liked it.
It's my number one.
I know,
time.
It's your all-time favorite movie.
But also, like, it's hard for me because Chris Nolan, he has 2 films of his that are in my top 3, and Interstellar is one of them.
I have to rewatch that.
Again, they just demand your attention, and that's what's like crazy is that this guy will have Avenger type level of budget, and will make a spy cerebral like film.
Yeah,
like you know what I mean. Like it's technically a summer film, but I think it's gonna win awards. Like, I think critically, it's the things that have never been done.
Yeah, I think it will for cinematography for sure.
Oh, 100%. It has to be a shoo-in. And also, there was no movies that came out this year.
You know what I think is the most impressive about his movies, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like, are a majority of them written and directed by Christopher Nolan?
Him and his wife.
How do you think about these wacky ideas? Like, how?
Well, because you know what he does? And this is the cool thing about Christopher Nolan. All his theme revolve around one theme. All of them.
Time.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, like time.
So what he does is he focuses on different theories and relevancies of time. Now, the Interstellar one is time, but also could deal with like physics and gravity. Yeah. Like that's the one that's like an on. But Dunkirk does a ticking clock the whole film. Okay. And it's in 3 different interactions that weave into a continuous stream. Memento, obviously. Yeah.
Does he have like a background in physics or anything like that?
I don't know.
Engineering?
I think he just has an obsession with science.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
But him and his wife and his brother co-created Westworld, the TV show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Jonathan Nolan. So he said this script, I think, was written, or he's been writing it for 7 years. Something like that.
That's pretty cool. But yeah, it was a pretty concrete story. So I was thinking to myself, like, this is not a story that you come up with in like a year. You know, like, this is a story that like it takes a lot of time.
Also, his casting choices are amazing, man.
Yeah.
Like,
I think it's kind of funny though that he always has Michael Caine. Like it feels
he's in all his films.
It feels kind of forced at this point.
Yeah, but that's
Caine
Tarantino,
plays the same
though.
character in every single one of his movies.
Yeah.
Like he's the wise British advocate. You know, he's
but
like,
Tarantino
don't worry,
does
things
that,
are gonna be okay. Like he's always that guy.
Yeah.
But you're saying Tarantino does the same thing?
He'll
Samuel
have
Jackson
reoccurring.
has a little more range. Like Samuel Jackson's an Uncle Tom in one movie, and then the other movie is like an action hero. You know, he has a little more range, I guess. But Michael Caine's the same character. Like he's Alfred. He's Alfred in every single one of his movies.
Except for Interstellar. It's a little different.
Isn't he? He's like a professor or something. He works at NASA. he's always like the older wise
and he's
guys.
comic relief too.
Yeah.
He's got like a lot of zingers.
I say.
That kind of thing takes me out of the moment because it reminds me
you know
of
he's coming.
watching a movie.
You're like, all right, what minute of the film is Michael Caine coming in?
Here. But yeah, he's charming. I liked it. Will I watch it again? Yeah, I have to watch it again because when you're in a theater, man, and sometimes you can't hear stuff, it bothers me. So I'm going to watch it with subtitles next time.
Do you remember when The Dark Knight Rises came out? And everyone was complaining about the first 5 minutes when Bane was on the plane?
I didn't understand what Bane was saying.
Yeah,
but in that movie, you don't have to, though.
But you know what he said? Nolan actually, because that's one of his criticisms of all his films. It seems like they're sound designed poorly. And he's like, I was just reading it the other day. What did he say? He was like, it's not to draw you away from the film and not be able to hear what they say, but look at what's going on type of thing. Like, so that scene in Tenet, right? When it was him, Patterson, and the one guy were in the middle of the street, 360 camera going around them. They're talking, but I wasn't even focused on them. I was looking at the cars going by. I was looking at the people. You can kind of hear the people in the distance eating their lunch and stuff. And I was just like, that's like, he kind of like does that on purpose. I don't know why.
I guess to create more of an experience and less of a narrative thing where you have to like closely adhere to what people are saying, which is cool. I don't know. My take on it is you should have a story that people can follow. That's just what I think. I think his approach is more like you'll follow the story if you watch it multiple times, and it's like, oof, that's quite the demand.
Why do you think Inception was like so massive though?
Was it massive?
Dude, it was like it sold $1 billion.
Oh, really? Wow.
It did have a huge reaction. I think it was because it was just so odd. It was just, I'm not saying it's a bad movie, but like there's different. Not really anything to compare
2009.
to that movie.
Yeah.
Different.
Yeah, it was
it's way ahead of its time. I don't know if I'm correct in saying that.
You think since you just recently saw it, it was over 11 years since it came out, did it age well for you?
I thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
Like, did it look like a film that could be coming out today?
It certainly could, if it was like an IMAX or something. Again, because I didn't get to see it in IMAX.
And you know why? I think a lot of his films, kind of like Tarantino, they hold up. They're practical effects guys. They don't rely on green screen. They try to do everything like, camera tricks or like stuff like that.
Yeah, like that one part in Inception where they're on the street and then the street in this town
street
comes out. Yeah, that like made me nauseous. I was like, whoa, that's really cool, but I was like, ugh.
Yeah. Weird,
get like queasy. Yeah, it was really well done.
The thing that blew my mind, and it's been done in many movies, but when they were fighting in the hotel corridor and the room was flipping, and you're just trying to keep up with all the action, I'm just like, dude, this is nuts.
Yeah.
Because the camera's staying still, but they're like literally rolling all over the place.
Yeah,
like,
it reminded me of the scene in this movie where the protagonist is fighting the inverted version.
That was my favorite part in the movie.
Which one? The first fight or the second fight?
The second fight where he is dressed. That's a question I have about the movie. So
here we go, because this question is going to open up 1,000 questions.
I had explained this to Greg last night.
So when he comes in dressed in, I guess, like the SWAT gear, right? He's in all black, and they're fighting each other. Is that going on forever? Is that like a loop going on? So he goes. So you see it for the first time. They come in, they fight, they get out, and then he goes back dressed in that outfit. And then, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't it when they leave they see them go back in? Right. So is that like on loop forever?
So how that thing's made, right? It's 2 separate time instances.
Mm-hmm.
So when you saw them walking towards it, remember when he was getting interrogated? That was a dope scene. And then he was like going like this, and like they were going back and forth. It's a continuous stream. Even though one's going backwards, one's going forward, it's a continuous line. So not necessarily that there's a loop, but you have to remember that they went, at first, they were going forward, the woman gets shot, then they went through the inverse, and they had to go backwards up to that point to get her help.
Yeah.
To go back in again forwards. So there was like a 3-4 day part where they were like kind of continuing 4 days. But the thing that blew my mind is when he went through to fight himself, he also went through, and Robert Pattinson saw it was just one way. You know what I mean? Yeah. So Robert Pattinson and the other guy saw it as 2 people, but it was one continuous line just broken against the wall. So like you're going in this way, but this way's backwards and this way's forward. So in that mirror we're showing it, but
you see, like that, I don't enjoy that. Like that's just like it's too convoluted.
But no, it's not that it's convoluted. They explained it. It's just like you don't fully you don't fully understand it to that scene when he was getting interrogated, because then they explain to him when he's interrogated.
Yeah.
That's when the rules of, I forget what the things are called, but that's when the rules of that is being established fully.
The temporal pinch.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
I like
so
that.
there was that. I thought you were gonna ask why the issue with him like revealing himself, because Robert Pattinson said that if you see your inverted self or something like that, and you guys link, like you can combust or something like that. It's something like that. I forget what he said.
2 questions, right, that no one's been able to answer so far. One of them was about that. So the first one is, when you go into the inverse, everything is opposite. So
opposites.
heat is
Left
ice.
is right.
That's
right
why
is left.
he froze and stuff like that. If that is true, then how are you able to start an engine? Because an engine requires combustion. How are you able to fire a gun? Because a gun kind of requires the same thing. And my last point is, they make a very clear point in this movie of being like, if you encounter your future self, if you touch them, it results in annihilation. But he fought his future self.
But he didn't know it was himself.
You have to know it?
Well, that's what they're saying.
Oh, yeah,
he didn't know it was him. When he fought him the first time, he thought it was just some random soldier.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to know it for there to be destruction?
I believe so.
Okay.
And like you actually have to physically like see each other, like, and then it becomes, then your brain, I don't know,
like
some
blows
becomes
your
aware,
mind.
and then you know.
Right, maybe they should have been more clear on that. Okay, so
but
I'll take that.
What was
that?
What was the first point that you asked? Because I had an answer for that, but then that one just distracted me.
So the laws of physics.
Okay, that part. They explain that beginning of the movie. Because remember when the woman said to him, "It's not you, doing the motion trying to pick it up. Mm-hmm. It's you redoing your motion to get it to do that." Yeah. So when the ball was on the table, picking it up, it's not going to do anything. You have to, with your gun, act like you shot, and then it comes backwards and it hops up. Mm-hmm. So that's how that was working.
Okay. I think.
So, and to start the car, he would essentially have to reverse the motion to start the car, and it would start.
Interesting. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And again, like that, knowing that those might not have the strongest explanations doesn't make this a good or a bad movie to me. Yeah. I think overall it's still really cool, but I was just thinking about like...
I think it's something also, just to show the effect of what you're going to see.
The protagonist is like the luckiest guy ever. So in the beginning of the movie, he's like close to dying from a cyanide pill because of this test.
It was fake.
Yeah. He wakes up and like everything's completely fine. And then it happens again. He gets hit by that grenade or whatever, and the car blows up. And he freezes to death, and he wakes up. Everything's fine. I'm like, this guy...
Well, they could bring him back because instead of burning, he went into hypothermic shock.
How many times are you going to make your main character wake up in a bed, and then somebody explains to him
It was only twice, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's still a lot for like a 2-hour
Well, the
movie.
first one was the first 10 minutes of the film.
I guess, but like I feel like that's a plot device that's very easy to do. Like, our character died. No. It was all fake.
Yeah, but the thing is,
he's okay.
But the first thing was a test. So no one could talk. And he passed the test.
This is me being nitpicky, Sheldon. I feel like if you do that, you do it once in the movie.
Yeah, but
because the audience is not going to buy, like, the camera goes black on this guy being frozen. It's just like, he's definitely not going to wake up in a bed and a guy standing over him being like, "Are you okay?" Like, that happened. Like, that happened once already.
Yeah, but but those are easily explainable, though.
I guess.
Because the first one, he's thinking that he's going to die, so he's willing not to give up his comrades, so he's going to kill himself. That cyanide pill was fake as a test so that no one would talk, and anyone who talks, they get killed. So we established that our guy is essentially loyal. Yeah. And then the second portion, because I forgot that part too, I was like, damn, he's dead, and he just lit on fire. Right. But because it's reversed,
he freezes. Yeah.
He freezes.
Which doesn't mean he's dead.
So you can bring someone back from hypothermia.
Yeah, I'm not arguing that the explanation doesn't pan out. I just question, should you do that twice in a movie? Because it seems kind of cheap. But who am I? I'm not Chris Nolan. That was just me like looking at that film. Like
the only one that was that had me like a little confused was the rules that they established if you get hit with an inverse bullet, and when the woman was not killed, when she was shot.
Oh, why they had to bring her back?
I get it, and how they did it, but I just need to see it in my own room where I can rewind it. Right. That's another thing with his movies. I want to be home. I want to hit the rewind just so I can process it again. Yeah. And then continue. Because that part, it left me a little fuzzy. I understood what they were doing, that they had to get her on the other side so it can slow the time. Like, so she would essentially be dying normally, instead of dying very fast.
So they would have more time to do the operation, because the operation still had to get done. That's what I was confused about too. But yeah, this movie, it's cool, man. I do have to watch it again, exactly like you said, where I can have control over how I watch it.
But the war thing, I think I got that one. That part was kind of
so there's Tenet, who is the organization of like the time travelers, so
which
to
the
speak.
Protagonist creates.
And then there are these other guys who want to see that algorithm do what it's intended to do, which is destroy the present world,
an inverse team and a standard team.
Which is another thing that kind of blew my mind. So the guy goes, have you ever heard of the grandfather paradox? And he explains it. And, you know, obviously everyone knows it's like you can't time travel because you can go back and kill your grandfather, and what would happen to you? And so the guy goes, he says, it doesn't sound like a good idea. And Robert Pattinson's character explains that the people in the future who develop this technology are willing to gamble. So they're willing to go back and destroy the past just to see if it saves the future. And it's like, well, how desolate is the future that they're going to go back and do that? They never really explain that. So I would have liked to see more of an explanation because it seems like a bad idea.
Well,
but you know,
the only thing I was like, that's a little really dramatic for was that the Russian guy wanted the world to die because he was dying. I was like, I felt like I missed something. Maybe I went to the bathroom. I think that's when I went to the bathroom, maybe. But I was like, it's a little dramatic. You want the whole world to end because
some people
you're dying?
feel like that, man.
I guess.
Well, he was like that about his wife, so it makes sense.
Also, didn't realize that there was two versions of him too.
Oh yeah, that's
didn't realize
right.
that
Yeah.
there was an inverse version of him, and then the one that was dead.
Yeah.
The forward one was killed, so his inverse stepped in, and that's why his relationship with his wife was so bad because she didn't realize what was going on, why he hated her, but he knew why, because she killed him.
Yeah.
And that's why he kept threatening her. He's like, "You gonna kill me?"
Yeah.
Like that's what kept threatening her.
That I did realize that was really smart. I remember
That was
watching
really smart. And then
Yeah.
the Robert Pattinson one was also really smart because I liked every bit of lines he had in the film. I think it did a purpose. Like for him to have our protagonist start Tenet because he met him, and he knew that they were going to be best friends and partners for a very long time.
He says this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship, but it hasn't started yet.
But it hasn't started yet because he has to recruit him.
Yeah.
But the thing that was sad is that the protagonist, why he was crying, because he knows that he's dead.
Yeah. He knows how he dies.
He knows how he dies.
Yeah, it's a very smart movie. It's just not one that's easily digestible. And again, I'm very happy to admit that I feel dumb when I'm watching a lot of Chris Nolan movies. I'm like, I don't.
Dude, it just hit me the other day why they were wearing oxygen masks in the inverse, because you can't breathe because technically air is leaving you backwards, so you're just getting all your oxygen gone.
Yeah.
So that's why they were having the mask. It hit me literally 2 days ago.
That
and I was
part
like,
made sense. You have to have inverted air. It's
I was
just
like,
so crazy.
I was like, oh my god, that makes sense.
It sounds so painful.
Right? Just air being forced into you.
Yeah. So no, great movie though.
It also messed my mind up when he went to step on a puddle and it was going reverse, and I was just like, I was like, my head hurts because he had his foot up and then like did like a little scoop down, and the puddle was like, and I was like, oh man, that hurt.
I like the idea of in the very beginning, Robert Pattinson's character reverses a bullet out of a bench that was shot into the bench at the concert hall, and the reverse trajectory actually kills one of the bad guys. And I thought that there was a lot of potential for that to be implemented later, because think about it, if you knew where you shot your bullets, you could just pull them back into your gun, and anybody who like comes in between you and the gun gets shot. I thought that was really smart.
But they did do that though when he fought himself.
Yeah, I remember that briefly, where he has like the gun against the
glass.
The glass. Yeah.
So I have a question for you guys. That scene, the first time we see it, was it backwards, and the second time we see it, was it forwards? Like how they shot it.
Oh, how they
Which
shot
one do you
it.
think was in reverse?
That's a really hard question to answer.
I think the first time you see it, it's backwards.
Okay.
And they did their camera tricks to make it seem like they're going forwards. And the second time we see it, it was actually all forward.
I could see that.
Honestly, I don't have an answer because I don't know much about filming and shooting in these camera tricks to really do that. And that's why... Oh, that was the chair that squeaked. No, I didn't fart.
First ever live fart.
Yeah.
Nah, that's not the first one.
So yeah, I don't have an answer because like I don't know how any of that stuff works. Like we could all be wrong, you know what I mean?
True.
So.
Yeah, I'd have to watch it again and see if they were both shot from the exact same perspective. I could have sworn that they weren't. I could have sworn that it was a different camera angle the second time.
Second time was a different angle.
Okay, so that changes things. But yeah, I don't have.
I think it was the second angle. I don't remember.
Yeah, man, it was a good movie. That's that. So
cool.
We're coming up on an hour. I'm not sure if you guys want to talk about anything else or we're gonna close out. But it's been a cool episode.
Anything else that's come out? Any
games? I'm sure there's a lot. I feel like I haven't seen you guys in forever.
There's a lot of games coming out, but like nothing that we're super passionate about. Like Crash 4 is coming out. That looks cool, I guess.
Crash Bandicoot?
Yeah, Crash Bandicoot 4, but yeah. I don't know. I feel the same way.
Cyberpunk.
That game's never coming out.
Comes out this November.
I don't believe it.
Someone's going to be playing it. He's like, but is it out?
Dude, it's like that game's been delayed so many times.
It's only been delayed twice.
But over
Not as bad as Final Fantasy.
This expansive, like what, like 5 years, right?
What's taking so long?
They wanted to fix back in July. They said that the game still had some bugs. It was supposed to come out in September, so they delayed it 2 months just to make sure everything was okay.
It's coming out for PS4. So this is going to be the last AAA title. Okay, I thought that.
That's another reason why I wanted the 5. I wanted to play this game on the 5.
It's coming out on the 5.
Yeah.
So what's up with the backwards compatibility? I think some
on PlayStation 5.
Yeah, if I read it correctly, it's like only like a few of the main titles will be.
I think they said 99% of the PS4 catalog.
Interesting.
But like me personally, because we all have the old consoles still. Backward compatibility, I never thought that was like a selling point for me.
It is for me.
Yeah.
But you have all the old consoles, like.
Yeah, but it's just a hassle. Like, I don't want to have to, like, the way I have it set up in my apartment, I have my PS3, my PS2, and my PS4 connected to the same TV. Okay. And like, I'm a special case. I know that's not easy to do in typical setups. Right. So my thing is like, if I'm getting the newest system, it'd be so much simpler if I just have that hooked up and I can play every game that I own instead of like dusting off the PS3 and be like, well, it's time to play Ninja Gaiden. Like, it would be way easier just put it in the PS5.
Oh no, I'm like so indifferent on it. But I've seen a lot of people like complaining about like backwards compatibility. I'm like, it's just each generation. I'm like, I don't play those games anymore.
It's just a smarter way to make money, though, Sheldon. Because there's a lot of people out there that are like, I want to play this. Like, I want to play. Think about how many people are going to want to play Grand Theft Auto 5, right? And it's probably going to be available on the PS5.
It is day one.
Say it wasn't. Say it wasn't. And given how big the magnitude of that game is, people online are going to be like, well, what system do I have to buy to play this game? And then that's it. That's how they make even more money. So a reason I don't like it is because, one, it's inconvenient, and two, it's blatantly a cash grab. Like, you have to care about the consumer enough to be like, you bought the PS5, you might be a loyal PlayStation customer.
Yeah, but everything.
So let's indulge and let you play all the games that you have.
But everything is considered a cash grab then.
That's another reason why I'm not too fond of games going to $70, because nowadays games are mostly the storyline than DLC. So it's like you end up paying $100 for the game.
But they're expensive to make.
I get that, Sheldon, but it's like there was a time in gaming where you could actually buy a complete game, and those times had some really good games.
Right. Yeah. But Grand Theft Auto 5, to that point, it cost them $150 million to make.
Didn't it make like $1 billion?
It did, but it's also a AAA game, so it's everywhere. But let's say the next one, 6, is graphically groundbreaking.
Well, the next one's for sure going to be on the PS5.
Right.
That's another reason why this.
Let's say it's like one of the most expensive games ever again, right? And then they charge $70 for it. I'm like, I feel like that kind of justifies it for how much it costs them to make the game. And like, granted, yes, they make a lot of money on the back end of it due to, everyone having a game, and they make way more than what it costs them to make. But like, in my mind, it makes me feel a little better that if the game costs more money, that the people who make the game can like live a little bit better and not be as stressed.
I get that.
But, get bonuses or some shit. That's what I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not in contact with anyone who makes video games.
I understand. I just feel like there's enough money in the gaming industry as is, and then there's going to be even more because of this pandemic. But I was going to ask you real quick. So if the new Grand Theft Auto does come out on PlayStation 5, will you buy the PlayStation 5?
I was gonna buy the PS5 to begin with, and that like
Harry Potter game.
Dude, that Harry Potter game looks awesome.
Sick. So what is it? I haven't seen it.
RPG.
Is it open world?
Open world.
Wow.
Open world RPG and Harry Potter style. Like, I'm not the biggest Harry Potter guy by any means, but the game looks sick. It looks great.
It looks great.
Is it like action oriented? Like,
I'm going straight to Slytherin, really cool. And I'm just cursing people.
Dude, I remember I took
I hope there's like an online or something.
You're going straight to Slytherin?
Oh my god, man.
I remember my ex-girlfriend, she wanted me to take a which Harry Potter house are you quiz.
Yeah.
Because like her and her friend love Harry Potter, and I took the quiz and I was Slytherin.
Same.
And she told her friend that loves Harry Potter that I was Slytherin. She goes, really?
She's like, you're with him, why?
But yeah, it looks cool. But as you know, like, I don't really care about next gen at all. But there's something about the PS5 that's so alluring to me. I guess because I'm older.
It also looks very pretty.
It looks so sick. So like GTA 5, Final Fantasy 16, and I'm sure there's gonna be awesome other games. So Yeah, I think I'm gonna get it. Launch day, absolutely not.
The thing that also excites me too is that this PS5 will have the shortest development cycle compared to the other ones. So it'd take like less than 11 months to make a game. So I'm hoping we get the turnover rate for Final Fantasy and other games like that to be a little bit faster and stuff.
Maybe.
Probably not, knowing Square Enix. They also made the Avengers game.
Yeah.
Never played it. It doesn't look like my cup of tea.
Well, bro, compare the Avengers game to the Spider-Man games. Like,
you played the Spider-Man game,
it's not even a question. Yeah, dude, it's awesome.
You loved it?
Dude, it's overdue. It's like one of those things where we need it. We have a great Batman game, it's the Arkham series. Like, why doesn't Spider-Man get the same treatment? Boom. Now Spider-Man's, I think it's surpassed the Arkham series.
Wow.
That's how good it is. Yeah,
really?
For sure. In terms of gameplay.
I loved Arkham Knight.
Yeah, man, it's great, but
whatever the last one.
You have 5 of them, and they're all kind of the same thing. Like, dude, this is looking like it's gonna have a lot of promise.
It was so good.
Yeah, man, and
Miles
just
Morales looks amazing.
Yeah, dude, it's they know what they're doing over at Sony, and they definitely know what they're doing over at Marvel. Batman, unfortunately, doesn't have that same kind of support behind it. You know, I forget who made the Arkham series.
Warner Brothers,
but there was another. Insomnia, something like that. Rocksteady. And they're great, man. But, you know, the power that Marvel has behind its branding and all the developers that they have, they're obviously making a much more powerful game. Okay, so a few things we have to say before we close out. I want to talk about what everyone's playing now before we close out. One, I'm going to get the Samurai Jack game because it looks awesome.
That game looks awesome. Yeah, totally.
It looks so great.
You see what point in time it takes place?
It is right after the ending, I think. Where he's escaping through the time hole, which makes me very sad.
And he's going home and he gets ripped out.
Yeah, which makes me so sad, bro.
I know.
But
he can't catch a break.
I'm still gonna play it. Yeah, he really can't. Especially how Samurai Jack ended.
They said it's hard.
Did you watch the 5th season?
I've never watched it growing up. I watched like a few episodes. Man. Yeah.
The 5th season's
we
kicker.
talked about it on here.
Yeah.
That was a season.
Yeah, dude. So I'm excited to play that. And that's actually the first video game that AAA that Adult Swim made, and it's doing really good. So I'm very happy for them. Cool. But what's everyone playing right now? So me, I'm still playing Ghost of Tsushima. I play Smash every single day, and I'm about to play some more Shovel Knight. That's it.
It's a good game.
Yeah. What about you?
I just beat. So I kind of want to beat all the games I haven't beaten yet on PlayStation before the PS5 comes out.
Yeah.
So last night I'm like beating games that I also played a lot but didn't finish them. Last night I finished Devil May Cry 5.
Do you hear that he's coming to Smash?
Wow.
Dante?
Yeah, that's the big rumor that Dante's going to be the next DLC.
Which Dante, though?
I don't know.
That's important.
I guess like the early PS2 one. I'm just guessing like the most definitive one. The silver-haired one. That
so,
one.
I'm hoping 5 Dante, because like he has a lot of abilities that would make sense in Smash.
If you Google right now who's the next DLC, like all of them say it's Dante. It's like the biggest rumor, because there's a tweet by Nintendo that hinted it said the tweet said something, the next DLC will make you cry, might make you cry. So I was
I think you should pick up Devil May Cry 5. Because I know what you like. I don't think you would like it.
I played the 3rd one on PS2 years ago. It was pretty fun. And then I just never like stuck with it or anything like that.
No.
You should play it. I think it's on sale. It's up there.
I'm going to play Devil May Cry when I play Bayonetta, because I feel like they go hand in hand.
They are very similar. Bayonetta is more of a classic Devil May Cry than the new one, but this new one has a brand new engine in it, and dude, it is fun, and the story is really good.
That's cool.
Really good. And it gets really Dragon Ball-y kind of near the end with the last fight. It was really good.
Cool.
Just beat that. I tried continuing Control. The game sucks.
What system? Switch?
PS5, 4. That game is awful. Makes no sense. They tried to make, and it's the people who made Alan Wake, which bothers me, because that was a good game, and it's in the same universe. I can't play. It's not fun. So I'm going to play. Going to finish up some of my Assassin's Creed games while I'm actively playing Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Cool.
Yeah.
That sounds fun. Fire Emblem's always good. And what are you're playing Dragon Quest?
I've been playing Dragon Quest 11. Sean, I don't know how into the Dragon Quest series you are, but they're awesome.
I have 9 or 11. So one of them's on Xbox. I think it's 11.
A Dragon Quest on Xbox? Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been playing 11. Game's incredible. It blows me away. I was telling Andrew earlier, I'm at like the second half of the game, so like 50 hours or so. So I'm sure I got another 50 to go. But yeah, I've been playing that. But I downloaded the. You have the Switch, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we downloaded the Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles game. So that's like online now. You could play together. So I have a copy. I don't know if Andrew got his yet.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry I didn't.
Yeah, we're waiting for Gus to get his. I think it's 4 players. We
Yeah,
could
dude,
all
you
play.
should play with us.
Do you want to play with us?
I'll play.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright,
Now we got
sweet.
4 people. Sweet.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you
haven't
for
started
reminding
it
me
yet,
about
but
that.
yeah, that'll be cool. But
When should I get it?
we should ask Gus because we're at his mercy because we don't know what's up with his
So have you
schedule.
played it yet at all? Or
Not yet, not ever
you
once.
You can't play single player. You have to play multiplayer.
Yeah.
So it's forced online.
So
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I've never played it even when it was on the GameCube. But that was years ago. I probably wouldn't understand what the heck was going on. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. But I've been playing that. I really want to play Final Fantasy 15. Seeing the trailer for 16 made me like really hype, and
That's
I think
like one of his favorite games.
15 really.
I love that game. Just to make it quick, I really love that game, and I can't stress enough to people. But I know it's not for everyone.
Why do you say that?
Some people don't like the combat system. I liked it. And the story is not the best, but I love the story because I like the relationship between Noctis and Lunafreya.
You might be able to borrow our PS4 if you want to use it.
I have one at my apartment.
Okay. 'Cause
And my
there's
brother
World
has
2
one too.
down here.
Have you played 7 Remake yet?
I have not. And Sheldon, to be honest, I really want to play it, but I don't want to play a half-assed game that's like. No, I'm not saying it's like a half-assed game. I'm saying like it's half-assed
I'm
like
kidding. It's not
release
done.
date. Yeah, I don't want to do that. So I might as well just like wait around. I'm not saying it doesn't look. It looks brilliant. Like
You
it
get
looks
50
amazing.
hours out of it though.
Wow.
Like
Like,
it's a 50-hour game.
There's just too many games that I want to play before that, and like I don't know what it is. Like I have like this urge to want to play video games. Like I want to play.
It's that quarantine.
Yeah. There's one game. It's called Grandia. It's like a very well-respected RPG that came out for PS1. I think the second one came out for Dreamcast, and they remastered them for the Switch. It's old school RPG, but it's like highly revered. So I want to play that. But I
Switch
gotta
is killing it with
Are you
these
gonna
old
get,
games.
Bravely Default 2?
It's been out.
Bravely Default 2?
Yeah, that's been out
Oh,
for.
it didn't come out. It got pushed back.
No,
because
no,
of
no.
COVID.
Are you sure Bravely Default?
Yeah, Bravely Default 2.
I'll look it up right now.
No,
Yeah,
there's
he's
2
not.
games for
Bravely
the
Default
for
2.
the 3DS. There's one on the first one, and I got halfway through it, and I put it down because I suck at video games. And then there's a second one. It's Bravely Default, or Second Default, or something like that. The Bravely Default
Bravely Default
games.
was on a 3DS, but Bravely Default 2 is on the Switch.
It's not. There's a second title on the 3DS. The cover's black.
So Bravely Default 2, it doesn't look like it's out yet. It says 12/31/2020.
It's called Bravely Default 2?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then what the heck is that second one on the 3DS? It's like Bravely Second. That's what it
That's
is.
a different game.
That's what it is because the name Bravely Default is based on that combat mechanic on there.
Yeah. Dragon Age 11 on Xbox. and
Interesting.
Bro,
Wow, I didn't
I'm
know
never
that.
going to have time to play these.
Echoes of an Elusive Age.
Yeah, that's
the
it.
one you're playing?
Yep. Yeah, I can't sing the praises of Dragon Quest
Dragon
11
Quest
high
enough.
enough or Bravely Default. Bravely Default is amazing. And you know
Holy
what's great
crap.
about that? That game sold 1 million copies in the US.
Sheldon.
Really?
When it came out.
Sheldon.
Yes.
We're jumping all around with games right now, but it doesn't matter.
It's my favorite thing to do.
I just one thing. I don't even want to derail anything. Remember Anthem?
Unfortunately.
Dude, you want to know how much it is right now?
$2.
Cheaper.
Nice. Good.
What is Anthem?
Don't worry about it.
Why is it so cheap?
$1.50.
Horrible. Still too expensive.
$1.50.
The worst.
Overpriced.
I'm on the GameStop website and it says that Anthem's $1.50 and over the image of it says bestseller.
That's so funny.
Yeah, bestseller because it's $1.50.
Oh yeah.
Game's awful.
Yeah, Anthem was a third-person shooting game that miserably failed.
Really?
It's
Wow.
$1.50. We had a podcast about it specifically, I think. But
Outraged.
crazy. All right, guys. I think maybe we should tap out here. I think we're all gamed out. But yeah, man, thank you for coming on. This has been episode
84.
Thank you. And I'm really happy that you guys came to talk games and movies with me.
We're almost at 100, lads.
Per usual. There's grapes. There's nuts. There's memories to be
And
had.
grape nuts.
And grape nuts. Yeah,
Next
man.
episode, we'll talk about Dragon Ball and
Well, so we have a commemorative episode coming up. Me and Ant. One Piece is almost at 1,000 chapters, so we're gonna have a special podcast for that. I'm gonna bring the Going Merry model here, the 1,000 Sunny model. I'm gonna bring Zoro's sword. I'm gonna wear the hats. It's gonna be awesome.
I'm doing cosplays. Jinbei.
Oh, did you want to talk? Did you want to talk about Dragon Ball now? I guess we can. I don't want to hold you guys up. That's my thing.
I have nothing to do.
All right. So, we'll go into Dragon Ball talk real quick. We talk gaming. We talked Tenet. Now we're gonna talk Dragon Ball. I thought that this arc was just kind of like a crowd pleaser fan service arc to get us.
Sucks.
Whoa!
I thought it was at first until what happened now.
I'm so indifferent with the Dragon Ball series because I feel like there's literally no plot. It's just let's reveal a big baddie for everyone to defeat yet again, and it's just endless cycles. After the Tournament of Power, I would have thought that's it. Dragon Ball is going to end. There's nothing else that you can do. They bring this guy Moro. Okay, he's the World Eater. We get the actual story of Majin Buu. That was cool.
That was cool. I like that.
That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let me take that back. That was dope.
Mm-hmm.
So Moro is literally a god-eating,
Planet-eating.
planet-eating.
Such a badass title.
Wizard. He's a wizard specifically.
He's a wizard, Harry.
Right. So off that alone, we know that our guys can't defeat him. Then he creates this. I don't even know what his name was. That machine with the
it's
thing.
3-7, something like that. It's like a number.
Stupid.
7-2. I don't know.
Yeah,
Something
the guy
wacky.
just clones people and then takes all their abilities, whatever. Then Moro devours him and then gets his. They fuse or whatever they do. Is what it is. And then Goku seemingly looks like he's killed, gets healed. Then, he now has awakened. He's mastered Ultra Instinct. Handles Moro, by the way, easier than when he fought Jiren. Okay, we won't talk about that.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing.
Because that was dumb. That doesn't make sense.
So that form of Ultra Instinct wasn't the form that he just activated now.
But still, it shouldn't be that much of a gap between the Ultra Instinct that he was to where he is now.
Well, Jocko
because in that Ultra Instinct that he was when he fought Jiren, he could speak. And he was essentially, he might not have been perfect, he might have been imperfect,
right.
But he was OP, and Jiren was matching him.
So, an observation that I made about this arc is that we see Ultra Instinct appear earlier, and he fights him in Ultra Instinct. It's just not mastered yet.
We've seen 3 forms.
Right. But
total, right?
Jocko gives a line in this chapter, which I think was intentional on Toyotaro's part, to make a specification that what we're witnessing is new. He goes, "Whoa, gray hair." Do you remember when he said that?
Mm-hmm, yep.
Which is supposed to be like to the audience, like, I know you're reading a manga and everything's black and white, but this is a new form.
You know how I thought it was a new form? Because he looks slim, kind of like God Mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's if the anime ever comes back, like, this is gonna look different than the Ultra Instinct that Jiren fought. So I'm not saying it's a plot hole. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm saying what I got from it was the form that he fights Moro in this previous chapter was different than what he fought Jiren in.
Okay.
Yeah, the one. So yeah, there were 2 forms, right? It was Ultra Instinct Sign, which is like we're on these waters, and then it was Ultra Instinct Mastered. So I guess.
So what was the Sign one? Did he fight Jiren as Sign?
I think it was like Awakened or something like
that.
that.
Was that the first one?
When he had black hair and just silver eyes.
And he had the energy around him, right?
Yeah, he had the gray hair though when for like the climax of their fight. So.
And that's what I'm saying. So that's the imperfect one, right?
I think that was it real. I don't know. It's hard because I didn't read. It's not that I didn't read it. I don't really remember the manga version of it. So, but I know
it's been a long time.
Yeah, the anime one he did do the silver hair. So remember all the gods stood up. All the gods of destruction. Stood up.
All right, I'm sorry.
The first
so complicated.
So the first time he goes Ultra Instinct against Jiren, he had black hair. And he had the aurora around him with the silver eyes.
It was like Awakened or something.
Yeah, but that wasn't like a true.
So that's not Sign.
I think that is Sign.
I
don't remember.
I don't know what Sign is. So like, we'll just call it pre-Ultra.
Because he fought in Sign against Moro once.
Yeah, totally.
So he's pre-Ultra Instinct for when he fights Jiren the first time. When he fights Jiren for the last time, before him and Frieza beat him, he becomes mastered Ultra Instinct.
So that was mastered.
Right, but he doesn't know how he did it. And this is confirmed in the Broly movie, right? Where it's just like, why don't you just go Ultra Instinct to beat Broly? He goes, I don't know how I did
He flashes into it for a moment, right?
Yeah, dude, I love that when the audience cheered in the
obviously,
theaters.
Toriyama knows what he's doing. He wrote that to be like a big nod to everybody who followed.
Quick comment on that. Let's keep in mind that Toyotaro is the one writing the Moro arc.
Specifically? Is that like on the Reddit?
Just Toriyama is just like checking off like, okay, let's do that. Like this is Super now, man, and I take it or leave it. It's Toyotaro, you know, and it's just Toriyama like, okay, we could do that, or we're gonna change this. So.
Okay. All right. So, with that being said, right, Toriyama knew what he was doing in the screenwriting of the Broly movie.
Yeah, he wrote Broly.
Yeah. So you know that whole thing, that whole scene was just to establish that Goku doesn't know how to go master Ultra Instinct, but it is a thing that he does, right? Mm-hmm. So now we get to the arc that we are currently at, and what has been established is very important because Goku can now enter Ultra Instinct at will. Meaning that, like, yeah, he knows how to do it. He has completely mastered it.
Well, how did he do it?
So it's the same thing that happens...
Instead of getting angry, he just, like, stayed calm?
Well, okay, so there's a very essential theme to Dragon Ball that's established in the Cell arc, and I've said this before on the podcast, I think. It's a very, very important scene, but it's often looked over. Not a lot of people talk about it. Gohan asks Goku in the hyperbolic time chamber, how do I get stronger? Because he's trained to beat Cell. And Goku's reply is, the way that a person becomes stronger is out of a necessity, not a desire. So you need to be strong, not that you want to be strong. And he goes, the way that you create that necessity is you use the pain of loss. So that is prevalent all over Dragon Ball, right? Krillin dies, Goku turns Super Saiyan. Jiren threatens the destruction of his friends in the Tournament of Power, Goku goes Ultra Instinct. Mirror dies. Mm-hmm. Now he's pushed to an even higher level. So what brings Goku to a new level of strength is the need to do it. He gets in these like emergency situations, kind of like if you've ever watched Avatar, the Avatar state. It's the exact same idea. I'd actually venture to say that they stole that from Dragon Ball. But yeah, that is the explanation. Is it a good explanation? No, but it's one that's consistent throughout the entire series.
Totally.
Which is when there's a life-threatening situation or some Goku experiences loss, he becomes stronger. And I always thought that was Toriyama's way of saying, like, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger in terms of being a person. You know, you lost someone, something bad happened, that you Goku the situation and you become stronger as a response. So I feel like what happened in that chapter speaks to the heart of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball fans, so I'm for it. I'm just not sure on the ending. You think that him taking his shirt off and being like, I'm going to fight Moro as an Earthling means that he's going to kill him? I think that almost guarantees that he's going to show him mercy. So the next chapter is going to be that kicker.
What do you think?
I totally agree that I thought when I first read it, I thought he was going to kill him because just like the way that his anger is and his whole disposition. But it's Goku, like he's an Earthling. He's the Saiyan from Earth. He recognized himself as an Earthling, and everything he's done is sparing people, and that's what's going to do him in because you have to eliminate some evil sometimes. You know what I mean? Because you know what's going to happen? Moro is going to somehow turn this on its head. It's going to happen. He's going to somehow use his last bit of magic because he even said something like that. Remember?
So do you think they kind of clickbaited us by having Beerus like, oh no, like when he like freaked out at the end? Like, this doesn't look good?
I think a rematch between them is inevitable. And I think that fight is going to close out.
Do you think Beerus and Goku are going to fight in front of Beerus?
I think that fight is going to close out Super. I don't think it's going to happen now, but I think it's going to close out Super.
But because what would be the significance of Beerus saying, oh no, this is not good?
Because I think because remember in Resurrection F, if Resurrection F is necessarily canon?
It is canon. No, it's even mentioned in the manga, so it's canon.
So what happened last time? Like they saw he didn't kill Frieza, or was that Vegeta? I don't really remember.
Okay, so then that would make sense. Since he didn't kill... if he thinks he's not going to kill him, then he's going to have to step in.
Yeah, maybe Beerus like, Goku's going to do something like his like goodwill nature or something like that. It's going to screw this up.
I also think that if we understood Japanese and read exactly what they were saying in Japanese, that would make more sense. Yep. I feel like the English translation, not that it's bad.
Scanlations are always bad.
Even the Viz translation, because I don't read, when it comes to Super, I don't read the, like, okay, the chapter's out 2 days before the Viz release. I'm just going to read that because I'm impatient. Because I want to make sure the translations
I read the Shonen Jump one.
Shonen on Viz?
He's talking about the one on the Viz website.
Yeah. Is that the one you read?
No, I have the Shonen Jump app.
Oh.
And I read it on there.
Well, Viz is
so like the magazine. They have an app, and you can read everything on there.
Viz does all the translations, so essentially you are reading the same translation.
So it's probably the Viz translation.
Yeah, they're the localization for mostly all manga here in the West, besides Tokyo Pop. They're like the other game in town, and Dark Horse. But so yeah, for Berserk and all fans of like more brutal manga, Vagabond stuff like that. I would say that I still maintain that though. Like if we could read Japanese, we would understand the tone in which Beerus was saying that better than an English translation.
But what about his like appearance? Because his mouth was kind of agape, like oh.
Yeah. I don't know. Some of that I think is just Toyotaro making sure that we read to the next chapter. I didn't look too deep into it, but I do think that he's going to show mercy, and Moro's going to take advantage of that mercy, which I don't think is great, but because it's happened before, I would like to see something different. And hopefully Toyotaro will give us that. And hopefully this isn't the end of this arc. Like that would be cool if like there was actually more and it wasn't just so cut and dry.
But the thing with Dragon Ball, it's like excuse me.
Recently it was super escalation, huh?
Huh?
No.
It's just I like even after Tournament of Power, I didn't see a need to continue. Like you fought the strongest person in the galaxy. You beat him. You won. You brought everyone back. It was a happy ending.
I don't like that though. Remember, because Goku didn't beat Jiren. Ultra Instinct beat Jiren, and that's one of the biggest issues I have. Because Goku didn't do it.
Goku's not beaten.
Well, Ultra Instinct didn't even beat Jiren. It's Frieza and Goku
and base
combined.
Yeah,
and base.
And I don't think that even sits right with Goku. Because remember, I think he even said like he wants to rematch Jiren or something like that. And there's no way Goku.
I think I said on this podcast too. I thought Android 17 was going to win it. I just had a feeling.
I mean,
because he fought Goku in blue Super Saiyan form and was holding his own, and I was like, okay, there seems to be some type of plot thing going on. But
yeah.
Oh yeah, remember that? Wow.
Yeah, that was a very weird thing in the
even
anime.
Gohan fought him.
Even Krillin, right? Like that's a pretty crazy
yeah. Like come on.
Well, that's I don't know. Whatever.
I think they were sparring. I think it's a difference between them fighting or whatever.
Yeah.
So what form was it that Vegeta went into when he fought Moro?
When he fought Moro, he comes back in this like. There's like a Super Saiyan Blue form that only he can enter.
So he's like the same thing, because you know how Goku has Super Saiyan, but it's always been Super Vegeta, Super Vegeta 2?
Yeah.
Is this like the same thing?
I guess.
Are we speaking of, or I don't know if we're speaking of it, but are we mentioning at all that blue form that he had in the anime Tournament of Power? Because that's a
different form, too.
That's a Toei idea. That's not Toriyama or Toyotaro. So I don't know if you guys even want to count that. Because that's called Blue Evolution or something like that. Yeah. So I don't know if honestly that's why I don't really like.
This is why I can't stand.
I just love Dragon Ball, man. I love it. I can't
just hate the evolves.
In my opinion, this is the most strangest time in Dragon Ball's history.
It is a weird arc.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
This current arc, you just mean the past couple of years?
Just in general, like, because we have an adaptation of the anime, we have an adaptation of the manga. We don't know which is which. It's like a fan consensus of like which one do you want to subscribe to.
Is more canon, yeah. That is super weird.
So it's just strange, man. So obviously we have to go by the manga.
Yeah, I'll say you always have to go by the source.
You got to do it.
I love all of it. I love all of it.
Yeah, it's so much fun. It's great.
Yeah, it's a good time. It is nostalgic. I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you guys and be like, oh, like are you not blinded by nostalgia sometimes with Dragon Ball? Yeah, of course. But
at the same time, man, because I even said this about Boruto and Dragon Ball should not be monthly serializations. 45 pages is not enough. Like this past chapter, nothing happened. Like Goku gets the form, beats his ass in 3 pages, and then like it ends on a cliffhanger.
You should read One Piece, man.
But the thing is, you get that weekly, like. Because think about it. Really? They take breaks?
Yeah. It's like 3 chapters consistent, and then it's a 2-week break, and it's excruciating.
Really?
Yeah.
Because they leave off at the best point.
Well, think about this. These monthlies, you get 45 chapters.
Yeah.
Weekly, by the end of the month, you're at 80 chapters. Yeah. I mean, 80 pages, sorry. You get 45 pages, and then the weeklies, you get 80 pages at the end of the period.
Yeah.
So that's 20 more pages of content that we're not getting, or in another case, 35 pages that we're not getting.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
At the end of the day, this is a business. There's a great YouTube video by Digibro called Shonens Are Designed to Go On Forever. And I highly recommend that you guys watch that. Where it's the authors of shonen and Japanese culture, when their serialization gets picked up, it's kind of almost an agreement that if you're a hot comic that you don't have a definitive ending planned. meaning that you know how the series would end, but you're not guiding it towards that. You're just constantly making arcs until
it's like a giant home.
So I
don't
like
think Oda does that. I'm just going to interject it there.
Well, Oda doesn't have to because he's so powerful and his manga is so prolific and he has so much money that it's really up to him when it ends.
Do you think that was the same thing for Kishimoto for Naruto? Because they were 1 and 2 for a very long time.
I believe that Kishimoto, I think reading in an interview that he did not want to do it anymore. And that's the thing. He was done. You can get out of that wheelhouse when you don't have to.
Yeah.
But sometimes something sells so big, like Dragon Ball, where it just keeps going beyond what you would think it is, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's like, after a while...
Because how long was it going for?
Dragon Ball?
Yeah.
30-something years? 1986?
Yeah.
For the manga?
Yeah.
The manga was going for 30 years.
Well,
and
Dragon Ball was, before One Piece, the highest-selling manga of all time.
Yeah.
So it is going to exist in some shape or form forever. But there have been plenty of manga series like Case Closed is a perfect example. That is just, it's still not over.
But that's also shown as almost like a normal serialization type of thing.
Well, that's what I mean. So it's like the guy who made Case Closed, I highly doubt that he said like it's going to end such and such a time. He's making money off it because that's his business, and he'll end it whenever he has to. You know what I'm saying? It's never like an artistic thing. Now, there are some series like Berserk where I feel like that doesn't exist to appease people monthly or make any sort of like he does it. Kentaro does it strictly for the art. You know, he has an idea of a story, has a very definitive ending. There's a certain amount that he wants to do. He's not making money off of it weekly. So it's like that's the difference between a shonen, which has to come out every single week, so kids will buy the magazine to make the company money. So we don't really have a definitive ending plan, and something that's like Kentaro, which is an adult manga.
Yeah,
you know,
it's
very niche, and it exists solely for artistic purposes and not commercial purposes.
That's what I read more of instead of shonen. And once Naruto ended, and I think I said this before, once Naruto ended, my love for shonen anime and manga died off, and I watch literally like one-offs or like I'll read things that are short.
Yeah, you changed my entire perspective on that. I remember we were talking about manga. You're like, dude, I'm done with shonen. I was like, why? Because like I didn't really understand like what shonen and all this stuff was. And you're like, I'm done with it. And you're just like, I'm done with the moves and like just like the corniness of it. And I was like reading Demon Slayer, and I was like, Sheldon's right. Like I don't care about this. And then Drew changed my life literally with Berserk. And I was like, this is what I want to read. Dude, so from there,
how good's Vinland Saga?
Dude, oh my
Vinland
God,
Saga is awesome.
Phenomenal,
amazing,
man,
dude.
and it's like an enriching story.
Yeah,
like there's
Attack on Titan,
art,
it's good.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean, like
ending. This
next
month or this month?
Next month. I can't fucking wait, dude, because this I'm currently reading it and the manga is almost done, so I don't know how they're gonna do this because the anime's gonna do a lot.
I haven't read it. I've only watched the first season,
dude.
So I'm gonna watch.
When you're done Berserk and Vinland Saga, Vinland Saga's not done for a while, but when you're caught up or whatever.
Well, I'm caught up on Berserk. I'm on because I'm owning all the Vinland Saga, so I'm on book 4 right now. I'm halfway through.
When you get caught up, start reading Attack on Titan.
I want to read that. I think that concept is really cool.
It is so political and it gets insane and then eventually if you want to watch a show, watch a show. The show is amazing. I didn't like the first season. Anything after the first season, I was like, we have something here.
See, I'd recommend the opposite. I recommend that you watch the anime and save the manga for later.
Really? Because I don't know. Akira is my next move. That's
because I'll say this about Attack on Titan. It's a monthly.
Okay.
And there's over 130 something chapters at the moment, so that's a lot to read.
Well, it's been going on for years, but I would say that the quality of the anime is so good.
The manga's quality doesn't look great.
Yeah, the manga's quality.
It's not that great.
As an artist, I don't want to ever poop on another comic book artist, especially one that's more successful than I am. But the art isn't up to.
It's not that good.
If you're used to Berserk and Vagabond, even One Piece, you're gonna be sorely disappointed. So I would definitely watch the anime because the presentation's better.
Okay.
That's
vastly.
And that's the thing. Like, because I know Vinland Saga is on Amazon Prime. I watched maybe like the first 3 minutes of Thor. Is it Thorfinn? His dad?
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? Thorfinn? Like him just on that boat and killing those guys. I was like, wow, I don't want to read anymore. I want to watch it.
Yeah, the anime opens up in a great scene.
Great scene.
I had to turn it off. Seriously, I had to turn it off.
A great use of CG too, where the perspectives.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, wow.
And so essentially you transition into where I did, and it's kind of funny how they're characterized. So shonen, like the yelling and all the attacks, what we are fans of now is called seinen, which is targeted towards that 21 to 49 market.
Yeah, that's what I'm into. I think that's
darker.
Awesome.
They're typically darker stories. They're not as long. Some are long. Like some are, like Berserk is long and stuff, but they typically get in and get out their story.
Yeah. Did you read any of the recent chapters of Berserk? Because the story's ending now.
Yeah? I haven't read it.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's just weird.
One of my favorite mangas that I read this year, because it was supposed to come to Adult Swim and I have no idea where it's at, Uzumaki.
Is that the classroom one?
No, that's the Spiral.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen it.
And people go insane when they see the Spiral.
I know everyone's...
Dude, insane. It's insane.
Oh, so that's the one that Junji Ito did, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that series.
Is that the popular horror?
Yes,
yeah, okay.
that's the one.
Mangaka. You'd really like that too.
Dude,
he's
and
more
it's
of an anthology guy too.
Yes, and it's intense. Like it's kind of like a little like you kind of feel a little weird. Like with Berserk. Like Berserk has some themes and like some chapters that are like, oh, this is heavy.
Any series that openly dabbles with sexual violence as much as Berserk does tends to be disturbing.
And it's weird, like, I don't really get enjoyment out of that. You know what I mean? I feel like it's...
That's not what I'm there for.
Yeah, exactly. I feel kind of guilty reading it sometimes.
I think Kentaro uses it as a tool to actually give you legitimate... there's a legitimate... What is the word I'm looking for? Repulsion. That's gone with just violence. Because that scene that opens up Berserk where Guts, he takes an arrow and he kills the two bar bullies by shooting them in the head. We're trained not to be disturbed by that because we've seen it so many times in action movies. Totally. When you mix the violence with rape and sexual violence, it's a longer lasting feel. And I'm saying as an artist you can make whatever you want. But I'm saying that it gives legitimate motivation to the violence behind Guts' actions because you understand how angry and how disturbed he is by what he witnessed because you feel the same way. So Berserk, Berserk is not for the faint of heart, but I think Kentaro uses those not as like glorifying sexual violence, but to give the characters who are affected by it the proper motivation.
Totally. And like
when Guts takes his arm off with the sword that's already been cut, you're supposed to feel that because of what happened. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Insane.
That's all very intentionally done. That's why people who are like, oh, like this has too much of this, I get it, and it's not for everybody. Berserk is not for everybody.
It's hard. It's definitely hard to watch.
But it does have its reasons. Artistically, I think it's near perfect. I think it's one of the more perfect comics I've ever read. So.
Yeah. Well, also the art style of it is fascinating.
Well, that's what I mean. So like.
And it's old too. It's 20 years old.
Started in 1983. You might know more than me.
No, it's later. It's like 87. I think it's.
I thought it was 89.
I think Berserk Prototype was 87.
He made that in college too, and if you ever read it, it's insane.
Yeah, I don't know.
Again, because I've told you this before, but this goes to show even Akira. The movie only shows the first book.
I'm so excited to watch that.
There's 7 books of Akira.
That's what I was telling him, because he was very worried about, is this going to spoil the whole series for me? And I was like, it's only a portion of the story.
It's only a portion. And that's why a lot of people were like, dude, we need more Akira.
Interesting.
But like that Akira movie is incredible as it is. It's like, you're at that thing where it's like, we're already 30 years since this come out. Do we return to it, or do we leave this as it is? Me personally, I would love to see more of the books animated, obviously.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the amount of influence that first film had, you almost got to leave it alone, because if the next movie is not even near as good as it is, you're getting criticized.
Yeah, the movie is a perfect storm, and when you watch it, you'll see what the hype is about.
I'm so excited because they sell like a book set of all of them in like a cool little box. Yeah. I might pick that up.
The omnibuses, as they call them, which are huge across the board with comics.
But even the show that you put me on too, I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, that's not for everyone.
They're in manga.
Yeah,
I never read
it.
I never read it. I only watch it because of him. But that's definitely not for everyone. The themes on that show.
Yeah, that series is. What can I say about it that hasn't already been said? But it is an allegory for Hideki depression, and he even said it. So he's just like, I make things when I'm sad, and that series is about depression. It's about social anxiety. So it's definitely not for anybody. But for people who are going through that, I think that the series is therapeutic because it has a pretty optimistic take at the end. That's just my opinion on it. So, but yeah, Evangelion's always one of my favorites.
It's a weird way to approach, but people's own feelings are unique. You know what I mean? So for him to convey it like that, it's interesting.
You should definitely watch some of his interviews. You would love Hideki Anno. He's a very interesting character.
Has he done anything else besides even Gunna?
He's directed some other stuff. I don't remember though. I mean, that's the only one I know. All right, guys, should we finish? I feel bad holding you guys.
Yeah.
I was trying to see what chapter I left off on for Berserk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's what I was just checking.
Yeah, Berserk is.
That's because it's been a while since I've read it.
Oh, speaking of Berserk, did you see that announcement? It's like Berserk a new
291. That's right.
Oh, that's where you left off. I think we're in 300 now.
Yeah, 361.
Yeah.
Berserk a new what?
There is an announcement for Berserk. It's October 9th, John Lennon's birthday. And it's called Berserk: A New Beginning. So we don't know what it is. If it's like a new anime adaptation, or a movie, or a book, or whatever.
I think
but
I
we're
heard
getting
about
something.
this.
So.
I did hear about this actually. Yeah, it deserves a proper anime rendition. I feel like a lot of them have fallen flat, and it deserves something really, really good. It also needs a video game. It needs like
a few video games.
It needs a good one though. It needs like a Dark Souls style game, bro. It would be so cool.
Apparently, there's like a big thing like how.
I think also with the Berserk thing, a lot of people want to stay away from it.
Why do you say that?
Because of like the themes, like
to
put some of the themes and the things that happen in the manga on animated format, a lot more eyes see than the mangas. So
well, I feel like that's not necessarily the issue. The issue is we sink so much money into producing this, but we can't mass market it because of the content.
That's what I was trying to say.
Totally, it's crazy.
Like it's not an easy sell.
Yeah,
but it has a massive cult following. But that doesn't necessarily mean that cult following will follow to the anime.
Yeah.
Because typically, as we know, we've seen animes that don't live up to like the source material.
Yeah.
And they don't turn out well.
I'm an artist. I'm not a marketing guy, so I can't really speak on that. But my takeaway is that there's enough fans that would be worthwhile monetarily.
Totally.
It's huge.
Maybe another movie.
This guy has a Berserk tattoo, by the way. Like, that's
Did you get one?
That's how big,
I got the brand.
That's how big the series is. So,
yeah, I was telling Drew one time, it's like honestly, like I don't feel comfortable talking about it with people. You know what I mean? Like, because it's such a graphic and engrossing story that like it's just weird. I don't know. It's like I don't feel comfortable talking about it, and like that's what the Reddit's for, and like which is I can like talk about it there. But it really is just so unsettling, but it's so beautiful at the same time that it's hard to admit that. So I don't know.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it.
Well, Berserk is a series about anger and the complications of anger, and I feel like anybody who's curious about that should read it.
My question for you guys, and this could be like the last one ever. Once One Piece ends, eventually, right? Will you two continue to read shonen? Or is that the thing that's keeping you reading that genre still? Do you think there's something that will continue to keep your interest in that?
I'll read Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball, yeah.
But yeah, probably not.
Frankly...
So let's say Dragon Ball ends, because I feel like that's going to end before One Piece. So let's say One Piece in a couple years, right? I don't know.
That's a whole different conversation.
There'll be another form.
Yeah.
They'll make it canon Dragon Ball AF.
So those two will keep you fairly in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Frankly, Sheldon, I don't have an answer because I'm not into manga and anime like you guys are. So the biggest pulls from shonen is One Piece right now and Dragon Ball, of course. I read Demon Slayer, but I
Did
got
you like
bored. I literally read like up to 130. I thought it was.
I think you're at the end.
No, there's 200 chapters
200?
or so, and I just gave up. Like I
didn't
just
like
lost
it.
interest. Yeah.
I watched it actually instead.
The animation's really cool.
It was great animation, but I was just like, yeah, I'm kind of tired of seeing fiery swords and stuff like that.
Again, man, seriously, man, you just like changed my whole view on that. But like, I feel like I should be into that stuff, and like I am giving it more attention. But honestly, and I hate to admit it, that's why I feel like such a bad guest on the show. I don't know as much as you guys know about like all this stuff, and I'm slowly getting into it all. But I love it. I think
that's what makes it beautiful.
Yeah, man.
It's a different perspective.
Yeah, different perspective, outside eyes.
Yeah.
You know,
we have a lot to look forward to. So yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
This is number 84.
Thank you. This is number 84, Andrewcast, with the all-knowing and wise Sheldon Fogel and the incredible and mystic Anthony Clarkson.
I like that.
We'll see you next time.